This is Chris. I'm here with Dr. Frank Stillo. Hope you guys have been enjoying the series here about PFAS. We've really started the educational part that Frank's been giving us. I think we're diving slightly into what I know a lot of you folks that have been watching some of this stuff and trying to learn more is essentially you want to get it out. You want it out of your water. We're going to just touch on a few of those things, kind of more of like an interview setting here, because there's a few topics on here we'd like to hear Frank talk about. He might not go into the craziest detail on some of these. We can have follow-up, and again, you can always reach us anytime if you'd like to get a direct kind of phone consultation and some more information. But we're going to start with what takes out, the theme of this one here, what actually takes out the PFAS. And there's some of the major ones that people have been doing research: ion exchange, activated carbon, reverse osmosis. We can start right off the top if you want.
Yeah, Chris, you nailed it. There's really three technologies out there that remove PFAS. Activated carbon is probably the most common one. Reverse osmosis, and ion exchange, which is probably the least common one. So let's start with ion exchange because it's the least common one. It's probably the hardest one to get. It's very expensive capital cost up front, but basically it's a tank or some sort of enclosure where you have this, what they call ion exchange media. Inside they look like little balls, but what they do is they exactly what the name says. They have some sort of positive or negative charge to them, and the chemical comes in through their media, and they sort of come out and grab it and attach to that chemical, whether it has a positive or negative charge to it. And so once the media, your water flows through there, and once the media fills up, it stops. It stops catching that PFAS chemicals that flow through there, and then you have to replace the media. So you have to stop your water system, you have to get a new tank or exchange the media out in there, and so there's a maintenance cost to that. The other con that I would say for ion exchange is you have to maintain it, and so you have to really have a good understanding of what your drinking water system is. So you need to know how many gallons of water that you use per day, and that may change over time depending on what you're doing. And also you need to know what your concentration of PFAS is coming in, because it's going to have a limited capacity to actually remove that from your water system.
Which requires constant testing, I would think, at some point.
Constant testing.
How often would you recommend getting those systems tested, and how is that based?
So I personally wouldn't make that recommendation. It would be whoever installs your system, because there's a lot of variables that go into play on how often you want to test your drinking water system, and it really depends on how you use your system and what sort of system you have. So
sizing, I take it.
Sizing, how it flows through, what your concentrations are. There's a lot of variables that you need to take place to make those recommendations. But what I would say is we have another video that goes through questions that homeowners might ask for testing, and so there's a lot of considerations that you need to make when thinking about testing: where to test, how often to test, and things like that.
All right, and that's a good overview on the ion exchange. So if we jump right to the activated carbon.
Yeah, so the activated carbon sort of works in a similar fashion. So you have this material that's inside of sort of a casing. Similar products to that would be your refrigerator filter, your pitcher filters that you have that are really common, and some whole household filters have activated carbon in them. But basically, it's the same concept. The impacted or contaminated water comes into your house and has these PFAS chemicals in there, and the activated carbon basically has it goes out and grabs these chemicals and attaches to those chemicals. And so it concentrates in that small tank. It concentrates the PFAS chemical in there. Again, they have a lifetime for them, so you have to maintain them as often as you're considering how much PFAS concentration is coming through your system, how often how many gallons are coming through your system. So your use really plays into how often you have to maintain these systems. And when they have reached their capacity, when they no longer can grab PFAS out of your drinking water, instead of just not being able to grab PFAS that's coming into your system, they'll actually release what they have and go and grab the new stuff that's coming in.
Larger chunks.
Yeah, and so instead of it's kind of like dosing you. So you actually get higher concentrations generally in short bursts when it releases the PFAS in there. So it's very important that you maintain these systems and you get some sort of testing that lets you know that this system's working and how often you need to replace it.
Yeah, and I think before we get into a certification question, you just went and ticked a few off the list here that we already had. I'm more on the actual equipment side, so when you look at some of these filters out here, in the carbon especially, you'll see a lot of what we call in and out heads that are just sitting in there, and they have loose packed resin that are not in cartridges, and they're just filling those tanks up. And those, you have to be really careful in any kind of setting, whether you're just even removing chlorine from the whole home when you don't have a backwashing head on there. A lot of times that tunneling forms in the first week to 2 weeks, and you're pretty much just using that center, that 25-30% as you go down the tunnel there. So try to keep us out of the equipment side for a moment. You hit on the fridge filter. That was one. Pitchers, I know a question we get a lot. We don't want to use names. Do these pitchers, do these fridge filters actually remove PFAS, or do we have that, quote, reduce? What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I would say generally speaking, if they're being properly maintained under perfect conditions, when they're brand new and they're working the way that the manufacturer says they're going to be working, they're going to reduce PFAS at some certain rate. Some people say maybe 70%, but it really varies from product to product, and it really varies on what the concentration of PFAS are coming into your system. What I will say is for those types of systems, and I think you would probably agree with me, if you only have 70% of PFAS being reduced, you still have that other 30% of concentration that's getting through there. And is that an actually healthy, safe drinking water?
Yeah, and to be clear, I haven't seen any of these pictures that no one wants to come out and claim. Yeah, I think more addressing, because those are the kind of questions that we get over the phone and through the web. I don't think any of these are claiming that they're going to. I think if you dig deep enough, they might essentially say we would reduce, but none of them do actually come out and say this is why you should be purchasing our filter, changing your fridge and all that. Because then, again, I think you slightly we're starting to touch on it. It might have been another video, but when you go downstream, and then when those come out and then get in the lines and get in the fittings, just out of curiosity, once those, and we might be running a little bit wide on this one, but once those get in the fittings and coming out of the faucets and stuff, how long do those last? Do they stick? Do they stay? So even if you change a new filter, however, but you ran the full PFAS through something, for an extra 8 months before you decided to change the filter that was not even reducing at all in the first place, how long do you think that stays contaminated? Yeah, so
I will say this. So there are certain tubings that actually have PFAS coatings in them. So there's a Teflon tubing that you can get, which actually allows liquids to slide really quickly through there, but they're PFAS coatings. So I don't want to say that your PFAS is going to stick to your fittings or things like that. That's a pretty complicated question. But what I will say is, circling back to certifications. So the National Sanitation Foundation certifies a lot of water treatment products. There are fridge filters out there. I would imagine, I don't know every single filter, but that may have this certain certification. But there is a national sanitation certification where it actually raises the bar above 70%, and it says our granulated activated carbon reduces down to below 20 parts per million. So it'll say at whatever concentration you have coming in, it's going to reduce it down to 20 parts per million. And I would also add 20 parts per million is not a safe amount of PFAS to consume. If you remember from our other videos, the EPA has MCLs for certain PFAS like Gen X or PFOA or PFOS, where their safe drinking levels are actually far below 20 parts per million. But I will also say each product has their own testing results in the National Science Foundation or National Sanitation Foundation on their website, so you can check, do they even exceed that 20 parts per million? Some get it down to 99.9%, certain filters, and they actually go above and beyond. And the other thing I would say about that's really neat about certification, this certification process, is they actually have to do it more than once. So it's not once and you're done. They have to do it over and over again over the years. And they also have people that go out and inspect these facilities and make sure that they're manufacturing these in a standardized way.
Yeah, I think we ran a little bit. You almost wanted to, we almost opened up another whole other door that we won't do on this series. That would be a series on itself of what is actually safe and who gets to make that claim of safe and how reliable is that safe, because we're still learning all kinds of different health things. So we'll stay as much as we can off the health one on this. I think staying in those three main product lines, the next one would be the reverse osmosis unit.
Yeah.
Talk to us about the efficiency of that and its type of maintenance.
Well, I will say, personally, I have a reverse osmosis system under the sink in my kitchen. It's the one that I like the best. It's pretty easy to maintain. It has a set of filters in there. It has a membrane filter that allows the water to cross through it, which is called reverse osmosis. But basically, it's a set of filter systems where you pressurize and you push the water through the membrane system, and it basically doesn't allow the PFAS, because they're bigger compounds. It doesn't allow the PFAS to cross the membrane, and so therefore you're only collecting water. It also reduces other things like the aesthetics, like total dissolved solids, and it'll remove lead and the bigger compounds.
Yeah, a long list.
A long list. And so I would say on the maintenance side, for the filter that I have, you want to maintain those filters every year. The membrane, you probably every couple years. And I will say it probably falls along the line as far as the upfront capital expense. They're all pretty similar. I'd say ion exchange is probably the most expensive, but activated carbon and the reverse osmosis are probably in the same relative price range. And they're also they can be really compact, so you can fit them under your sink, and they're pretty. You can have a tank, and you can have a storage of water supply that you can have on demand whenever you want and wherever you want.
Yeah, and I think kind of closing this one out, if I jump just straight to the application side, since you're kind of opened that door a little bit when we talked about the reverse osmosis, especially for drinking, there is that major peace of mind if we're just isolating. That's why a lot of our customers, they do the whole home protector series, either the 1 through 3, and we have that claim, but you don't see us posted anywhere that up to 70% of those forever chemicals, because we're using that catalytic and activated carbon in all of our mixed bed units. But I will say, just for that peace of mind, the customers are getting that annual filter change on the reverse osmosis into the sink. That is going to eliminate those forever chemicals, along with a long list of extra things. So if we're just sticking with the drinking, it is 100% the reverse osmosis. We have probably have a big North Carolina audience that checks these out.
Yeah.
And we most know the history of a lot of the PFAS stuff there. If not, there's some other videos here. But I will say, we were slower to roll out a whole home system, which we don't try to use these videos to blast our product. We want a comfortable place for everybody to be able to come and get education and not feel like they have a pop-up of product that's being blasted the entire time they're trying to learn something. But I will tell you that the system that we rolled out for PFAS for the entire home, and I'll say the two different options that we have, is one that is certified for 100,000 gallons. One of the reasons why we didn't want to just roll out all these little canister filters and these different things is similar to what we were kind of talking about with when to change certain filters. And a lot of these little filters, if it's not lasting at least 100,000 gallons, which is really an average family of 4, that's about what they'll use in a year's time, is 100,000 gallons. If we're under that, then we already come out a lot of times to service a product around a year. So we wanted something that would last a year. And this is for the PFAS lead series that we have, that is for the entire house. And this unit that we put out, another big problem we have is a lot of these filters, homeowners don't realize when they're purchasing them, one, they're not certified, 2, they're reducing the plumbing down to a 1/2 inch when they go into these systems. We didn't want anything less than 3/4. So that's what we were able to do with the PFAS lead series we have. And it does get you a full year before you change it. That is for the whole home. The things to keep in mind when people are considering all these systems is you can't use any of these PFAS filters if you have any iron in the water. If you're on well water applications, they will completely clog those up immediately. Be careful when you have salespeople in the house that don't, and they may not know all this stuff, and they may be genuine, but as soon as you run that iron in there, it's only gonna be a matter of months before that's going to be ruined. City water, you're pretty much fine to get that full year out of it. No pre-treatment if that's what you choose to do, but you're not softening the water, so you don't want to confuse that. I will say for the customers that just say, I'm giving you kind of the ultimate option here. It is the most expensive option, but it is I don't want to worry about anything. I want a whole home reverse osmosis unit. That kind of is a separate video, if you will, to go into that. If I give you a little sneak peek, if you just say, hey, I want to know how do I get this out of the whole home and not, well, we definitely are going to need at least a 300-gallon holding tank. So when you're looking at space, square footage in the house, probably a 6 foot by 6 foot area, because essentially what we're doing is pushing that water through that membrane. We are able to push it through at a fast rate with a high rated membrane. However, it's still not the same pressure you're going to get through city water. So we essentially have to make that clean water, put it into a holding tank, and repressurize the house with a separate pump. At that point in time, again, this might be a little technical here. We do end up lowering the pH about 1.5, probably in that 5.5 to 6 range after we run it through that membrane. And so then we put what's called a neutralizer after that raises the pH up so you don't have acidic water through the entire house. And then you are pretty much golden, good to go. That was the fast version of that, but those do get pricey. And depending on if you have well water and have any other pre-treatments that you need beforehand, will dictate what we do there. But that's how it ended application wise. I think to keep these videos in the theme that we're doing and trying to not make them 2 hours long, that's what I got.
Yeah. The only other thing that I would add is, circle back to that RO maintenance, is essentially if you maintain it once a year, you're good. It doesn't really matter what your concentration of PFAS is coming in or how many gallons you're using. It's going to service that no matter what. And because it's not grabbing that PFAS chemical, it's not storing it there against the filter. It actually flushes it out and down the drain into your septic or into your wastewater system. There's really not any chance that you're going to get that concentrated dose that gets you like the activated carbon or where it's not actually working with the ion exchange resin. So to me, that's why you get the best comfort, and that's probably why it's the most expensive, is other than the holding tank issue. Is that it actually does work. To me, I think it works the best.
Yeah, you did just push me back into a question there too. Like when a customer has already had an existing water treatment system, a softener type of deal, and then they want to add that PFAS filter later, would you not agree that the PFAS is already in those resin beads and we should be putting that PFAS filter downstream after the softener?
Sure.
Unless they were installed at the same time, then we could put the PFAS filter first to protect the resin.
Yeah, especially if they're not going to replace that whole whatever they had previously, and that's really where our expertise comes in with our master plumbers, and my expertise for drinking water quality comes in, where you really want to take a holistic view of what's the problem, what's happening, and what's the safest solution. And I think you hit it on the head. Is you want to be the most conservative there and put that filter after any potential concern that you might have.
Yeah, and you lightly open that door a little bit too. We want anyone to feel comfortable, give us a call anytime on a consultation. I think you've touched on it in other series. I mean, you really can't get 100% away from PFAS. It's impossible to eliminate that risk. I think not a scare thing for us here, but all of us have a little bit of PFAS in our bloodstream already. It just it's there, and ultimately we can't eliminate it all. So that's not our goal. If you're giving us a call to ask, we'll gladly tell you, hey, this is going to probably help you a certain percentage, and then you may not care enough to spend the money to do certain treatments, but we'd like to find something comfortable for you if that's what you choose to do. Thanks as always, Frank. See you guys soon.
Bye.